Welcome to another Demarcation Media LEGO review. Today we're going to be taking a look at an older LEGO Star Wars set. This is a pretty darn obscure set. A lot of the more recent collectors might not even know about it. This is from 2013 and this is Jek-14's Stealth Starfighter. So for those of you who might not know, LEGO did this thing. It was like a short movie sort of thing called the Yoda Chronicles. They had a bunch of stuff in the LEGO Club magazine about it. There was, I think, even a game on the LEGO website or something. Anyway, there was this clone that was being made by the Sith using kyber crystals. And so he was like grown with this really supercharged arm with like kyber crystal energy. And he was super cool, actually. I personally think the idea is really cool. I think it could have been a lot darker than LEGO made it, just because LEGO was making it be a kid's short. But at some point during the first kind of wave, he got this stealth starfighter, which is technically an Ewing, and escaped in it. And they did this set, which at the time was fairly overpriced, and now is really overpriced because LEGO Star Wars, I don't know, they just get expensive, and especially because they have a bunch of exclusive figures in this set, and the ship is right now one of a kind. So I got this from Mendy over in the Discord. He was selling one just because he didn't really have much use for it, and I immediately jumped on it because this was kind of my white elephant LEGO set. It was one that I really wanted to get. Not only just for the ship, I really do like the ship, but the minifigures were the big draw. They're just so expensive to get now, and they're really unique. And I'm honestly really excited to take a look at this. I know LEGO reviews they don't perform as well on this channel, but this set was too awesome not to look at. So let's go ahead and we'll jump into the figures, starting with that astromech. So this guy right here is R4G Zero. Now, I have no clue if this little guy is canonical or not, but here's something you need to know about me. I'm kind of a sucker for these LEGO astromech droids, especially the ones with this head. So R2-D2 used to be my favorite Star Wars character of all time, and getting the LEGO R2-D2 was amazing. He was literally my favorite figure for the longest time. And then I started seeing more astromechs, and I just thought they were the coolest thing ever. So I'm pretty biased when it comes to these little astromechs. This dude is really nice. Like really nice. I'm liking this one a lot. The head printing is done so well. Look at the top there, looking really nice. And unlike modern astromechs, the circle printing is actually pretty well done. It doesn't like wobble a whole ton. The lines are straight and sharp. It's just really nice. I am very impressed. The torso has like red markings to toss up the coloring. It looks really good. I like this a lot. Again, I just have this ridiculous over-the-top love for these astromech droids, and this guy hits every box and does it really well. I mean, look at that. Look at his little 3 eyeballs. It's adorable. How could you not like this guy? So this guy is odd. LEGO just kind of labels him as bounty hunter, and that's really all we know. That's it. Unless he's based on some character that I don't know about, he's just a bounty hunter that LEGO made out of thin air for this set. He has some serious, like, Old Republic bounty hunter vibes, at least to me. And he also bears a little resemblance to, like, Rocco Hardin, but his outfit is not quite right, and his helmet is definitely not right. His eyes are all wrong, and the bottom of the mouth is all wrong, but he looks super cool. Like, absolutely, probably one of my top favorite Star Wars minifigures of all time for a couple reasons. First of all, he just looks awesome. I mean, look at this outfit. How is this not one of the most cool things you've seen from LEGO Star Wars? But also, he doesn't have a backstory. He doesn't have any sort of anything tying him to the wider universe, and I can just make him be whoever I want him to be. I can take any photos I want with him, and it's not out of canon because he's not really canon to begin with. So that, to me, is really a really cool thing. This helmet is a Mandalorian helmet, actually. but it's printed with this really interesting face design. The head underneath, very fitting for a bounty hunter like this. That's actually Jace Malcolm's head from Old Republic, which further adds to the Old Republic vibes. But yeah, I really like this. He's got like body armor for the top, and then I thought the rest of the green was body armor, but looking at it closer, you can kind of see it's almost flight suit-esque. And he's got the white belt, and then his legs also have some print as well. And then he comes armed with that blaster rifle. Really cool. Again, have no clue if Lego based this guy on anything, but he looks amazing. So we've kind of got a similar situation here. This is what Lego calls a Special Forces clone trooper. It does not look at all, really in the slightest, like what actual Special Forces clone troopers looked like in the Clone Wars, which is the only time that we see them. He comes with this giant shield, this giant like laser shield, kind of reminiscent of the ones the Gungans used. It's just two pieces. Then he's got a blaster, little blaster kind of, I guess it's a mid-size. It's not really a rifle, but it's not a pistol either. The torso print and leg print, super detailed. I really love how this looks. It gives me Senate Commando vibes, but way more detailed than the Senate Commandos ever were. He's got a pauldron, which is exclusive, I believe. More print around the back. Again, not really looking anything like clones. I mean, that belt is kind of reminiscent of the Stormtroopers' belts. And he's got the Stormtrooper helmet mold, but the head doesn't look at all like a Stormtrooper. You can kind of see he's got a funny mouth, and he's got the two little slit eyes. He's got the red on the forehead. There is another variant of this guy, the Special Forces clone captain, I think it was, or a commander. And he was mostly in white with a blue belt, and he came in like a Star Wars encyclopedia. And then you can also get a version of Jek-14 with a blank white one of these helmets. Underneath, we have the head that was with all the clones at the time. Angry clone. This guy kind of became a meme after a while. And we have better clone heads now. But it's kind of funny to see it again. Kind of gives me some nostalgia. But yeah, this guy's really cool. Again, really seems like Lego just pulled it out of thin air. I don't really know if they have anything to base this on. But whoever was tasked with designing this minifigure, really good job. I don't know if you still work at Lego or not, but hopefully you do, because this guy is really good. And then, of course, it couldn't be Jek-14's stealth starfighter without Jek himself. To this day, I gotta say, this has to be one of Lego's all-time best original concepts. As far as I know, it's original. Again, this is all just, they just slapped names on these characters and then rolled with it. But look at this. So this guy is kind of, he's got a helmet design reminiscent of the Special Forces Trooper, but this one is on a Phase 2 helmet mold. And then he's got the glowing blue eyes. Kind of looks a little bit like Neo, however you pronounce that. And his like Bark Speeder troopers. But the eyes are separate, which kind of shakes it up. And then his mouth is a lot more, it's more menacing, honestly. It looks like a ominous grin. Where we've got lots of detailing. He's got kind of a mask almost with the eyes on it. And then there's little print on the ear sections. Don't really know what they're supposed to be. That one's a little misaligned, but not bad. The torso is also kind of reminiscent of this dude, but a little bit different. He's got a bigger, like, kind of abdomen unit, and then his belt's different. His leg printing is different as well. He's got a gray waist. Back printing looks more like a clone trooper. He's got the stormtrooperish sort of thing, which I guess is a way to show that this dude was originally made to be a Sith thing. But the best part is this arm. This was the first time Lego had ever done a translucent minifigure piece outside of the head. This is the first time we've gotten anything on the torso that was translucent, and it was such a big deal. It was literally the coolest thing, and it still is epic to this day. I actually bought a second arm before I even had this guy, and I have a like ninja dude built with it. But look at that, arm printing and a clear arm. One we had never seen before, and the other we didn't see very often. So it's really cool. Also, it's kind of clever. They masked the like hand stalk with the lightning. Just looks really good. These arms do crack. You can kind of see some cracks on there now, but it doesn't look very bad because it just looks like more detailing. And so far, it hasn't actually caused any problems. There you can see that helmet up closer. He comes armed with a blue lightsaber with a white hilt, which was a new thing. We'd never seen that before. And then underneath the helmet, he had an angry clone head, except it wasn't angry. It was kind of confused looking with blue eyes. And then around the back, we have the most psycho, enraged, like, look at that. He's literally just going Super Saiyan mode, and the lightning's all over his face. It's like Thor, but a clone trooper. I don't know. The concept of this is so cool. He's got Winter Soldier vibes too. And Lego was kind enough to give us a hairpiece, kind of to emulate the buzz that clone troopers typically have. Looks really good. Definitely one of, if not my favorite, Star Wars figure of all time. So even though the minifigures are kind of the main event here, the ship itself is still a kind of a big deal. So never before have we gotten an Ewing from Lego, and they don't even acknowledge this as an Ewing. Clearly it's an Ewing, but they don't acknowledge it as such. Until recently, the Ahsoka sets were just revealed, and an Ewing was shown there. However, the Ewing wasn't actually canonical until recently. So this was really cool to get. The color scheme, really nice. A very bold color scheme. Typically, Lego didn't do ships quite like this. I mean, you can tell that they took some freedoms with the design, some freedoms with the colors, and I really like it. It feels very specialized. It feels very much like, I don't know, like the same way that the Millennium Falcon feels to Han Solo. This feels like it's really meant for Jek. The cockpit does have a sticker inside. It's not really that amazing. We do have some stickers here. I don't know if that's a kill count or what, but it is mirrored on both sides. Can I get... There's the cockpit sticker. He's got plenty of space in there. Closes down over him. Looks really nice. He's got the printing on there. We have some more stickers here. Looks really good, actually. And then we have this sticker here. Don't really know what that symbol is, but it is on both sides, as well as these stickers being on both sides. The gimmick is actually doing its thing, which I don't want it to do yet. I wanted to kind of give a quick turnaround. So we have the gun up here. It can kind of sit there to keep it from flopping back and forth. And then we do have a slot for little R4G Zero. You kind of have to turn his head sideways though, which is fine because they do rotate like that. And then he just kind of slips in there like so. I guess he's probably the one controlling the gun. You can lift it up, spin it around to here. Well, you can get a full 360 if it's up like this, but if you want it more level, you're just gonna have a more limited range. Still, think it's pretty cool. I thought I was gonna be annoyed by it because it doesn't have a ton of friction, but it stays in place pretty well for the most part. The design of the whole thing is really nice. When it's in landed mode, it has this kind of predatory hunch to the wings. We have a single landing gear, which you can then bring up like that. The underside is a very large Technic mechanism that I don't know if I love or not. I mean, it looks very complex and like maybe an underside of a ship would, so I can give a pass on that, but I don't know if I love the feature. I do love the way the engines are. You can kind of see blue in those thruster units. Got guns there. And then what happens is on the back, we've got these little tabs, and you turn it and it lets the wings down so that it gives it that slope and silhouette of an Ewing. Looks pretty nice. The only thing I don't like is that these pneumatic tube thingamajigs don't actually pull their weight. So if you flip it upside down, the wings are just going to flop. So for swooshing, this thing can get a little bit frustrating, but for how good it looks, I don't know. It's a trade-off. Trade-off that I'm kind of willing to make. I like kind of some asymmetrical detail that they've done here. And then around the back, we have this little storage compartment. This is actually the wrong piece. It should be a solid bar, but it's close enough. And then you can pull this out. This is kind of just a little storage crate. You can see. And then the holocron, or a holocron, is in there. I think that had something to do with the Yoda Chronicles story. But there's the space in there, and you just kind of slide that in and close it. Unfortunately, you can't really fit Jek's lightsaber in there, which is a bummer, and his hair. I don't really know of a great way to store either of those things in this ship, but other than that, it's really cool. But what I was a bit surprised about is how large it is. Typically, Lego ships now are a little bit smaller, but this for a Starfighter is big. So let's do some size comparisons. So if there's any hardcore Lego fans watching, you might want to skip this part because this is technically sacrilege. Here is the Hornet, the newest Hornet from Mega. You can see side by side with the ship, fairly small. And then moving up a size, we have the Wasp, still kind of dwarfed. The Wasp is obviously chunkier, but Jek's ship looks like it would take it easily. So to size up again, here is the Falcon. And generally speaking, lengthwise, they're the same. Obviously, the Falcon has way more bulk, but Jek's ship is no slouch when it comes to size. So for the Lego fans, I wanted to drop in the newest X-Wing. Well, I guess, yeah, it's the newest figure size X-Wing, and excuse the dust. But this is like the $50 X-Wing. And they are similar in size, but scale-wise, everything is bigger on Jek's ship. You can kind of see lengthwise, the X-Wing is shorter. The wings are a little bit shorter. The cockpit's a little less robust. And the whole thing is just a lot more menacing. Like, it really looks like Jek's ship could take pretty much anything that comes at it and come out on top. I really like it. I like how predatory it is because Jek himself is kind of a predatory character. Well, that sounds wrong. He's a fighter, and he was made to be a hunter of Jedi, and then he decided not to, and so then he was being hunted, and then it's a long story, but he was kind of always fighting, almost bounty hunter-esque. So I feel like this fits him really well. I don't have any other Star Wars ships built right now to compare it with, but I felt like those were probably the best for giving you a sense of scale. And then just in case, there's a minifigure. I feel like they look nice. Like, size-wise, I don't really have any problem with the size of these. I often have problems with the sizes of Lego's ships now, especially their shuttles. But these together feel really nice, and this especially feels very properly scaled. Well, there you have it. That is Jek-14's Stealth Starfighter. This set was a big deal when it came out. Lego even went so far as to make a tiny version for Comic-Con. It was like a separate box thing. Jek came with it, but he just came with his hair. The helmet is exclusive to this set. It's really cool. I really like it. I feel like I'm a little biased here. There are some things I don't like the wing mechanism is kind of meh, but the minifigures are so cool. That might be the coolest lineup of Star Wars figures in a single set ever. Fight me. It is that good. Like, seriously, I know there's probably some that people could think of, and honestly, I would love to hear if you guys have a different opinion. Like, what is the coolest lineup of Star Wars characters in a single set? For me, it's this set. I mean, look at this. Super Winter Soldier-esque Jedi clone trooper, random unnamed bounty hunter who wears a helmet and has all the best parts of Boba Fett but isn't Boba Fett, astromech that is done to perfection, and then a random special forces trooper that just is really beefy and cool looking. I mean, it's really hard to beat that. It's really hard. And then the ship just kind of completes the whole picture. Now, the big big downside of this set is the fact that it is now over $100. It was $70 when it first came out, which is pretty steep. Although for Lego's prices now, that's normal for a set like this, unfortunately. But now it's $100. If you can get it for $100, that's good. If you can get it for less than $150, that's still decent. Like $150 plus is kind of the average for this. Like if you want a sealed one, you're easily going to be paying $200. It's just that expensive. Jek himself will go for anywhere from, you might be able to get a slightly beat up one for $30 if you want a good one, good condition one like this. He's probably like $50. I mean, he's not quite to the level of Phase 2 Captain Rex, but he's still pretty tough to get. There is another version of him that is just, he doesn't have the red markings, and he has one of these helmets instead of one of the Phase 2 helmets that came in the Jedi Scout Fighter. That was like a later version of Jek when they found him when he was older. He'd been doing his own thing for a while. So there is two versions if you want to track down both, but it will be expensive. Definitely expensive. That is the one downside. If you can find this for cheaper, though, highly recommend. Oh, I did almost forget. There are missiles under the wings here that if you press this back here, boom, the missile is gone. There is one underneath each wing, and the ship has landed on the Special Forces trooper and squished him. So pay your respects. Put an F in the comments for the Special Forces trooper. I will be having a funeral for him later. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time.